Kingdom Hearts 3 Remind had one of the greatest cutscenes and interactions I think I've ever seen in the Kingdom Hearts franchise. It's been almost 5 years since the DLC has released, and still there are moments that I love going back to and that keep me excited for Kingdom Hearts 4 and future games. And one of the most interesting cutscenes is right in the beginning with the Master of Masters and Xehanort, and I want to use this cutscene as a way to kind of articulate why I'm so excited for Kingdom Hearts 4's story and stories that might happen thereafter. Kingdom Hearts has told many layered stories with deep messages, but a lot of them have the same moral or a simple moral at the end. It's always about light versus darkness, and it's usually about why light is the victor or why light is the good guy, why we fight for light, why we want to keep light in our worlds, why darkness can't just take over and destroy everything. And while games like Kingdom Hearts 2 have discussed the in-between nature of light and darkness, that sort of gray area, light still comes out on top and sees itself as the most virtuous in that situation. But what's so amazing about the Key Saga, about the Master of Masters, the Foretellers Quadratum, what's so interesting about all these new elements that are being set up for the next arc, is that it's not entirely just about light being the good guy, darkness being the bad guy. The new saga, these new stories, are discussing these layers in a more interesting way, and I mostly want to target the Master of Masters for this. The Master of Masters is a character who is ambiguous for sure. The Master, we don't fully know if he sides with light or darkness. He almost seems to play both sides, but he seems to play both sides for the greater good, perhaps? It's completely unclear, yet that's what makes it fascinating. The Master of Masters in Key back cover is simultaneously trying to keep the light alive with a foreteller like Ava, but at the same time giving all the foretellers completely conflicting roles that actively lead to a Keyblade war. And then cutscenes like this, where the Master of Masters is actively leading Xehanort down that dark path even further than maybe he already was. But then you get cutscenes in Kingdom Hearts Union Cross where the Master seems to be fighting for the light, where the Master is talking about how darkness took all of his friends and the war between light and darkness has been going on since he was a kid, so he sides with the light, right? But it's truly a mystery. We've never had a villain or a potential villain like this before in the Kingdom Hearts series, ever. Which is why this cutscene featuring the new villain of the next saga and the old villain of our previous one is so dynamic and filled with things to talk about. This conversation covers a more philosophical discussion regarding light and darkness. Things are questioned, mentalities are challenged, and logic is thrown into this. Something that Kingdom Hearts doesn't always do, admittedly. Xehanort has always been a character like this to a degree. Conversations in the Xehanort reports talk about how his goal was him wanting a balance between light and darkness, while the games portray a more I want darkness to rule sort of mentality. And then after Birth by Sleep into Kingdom Hearts 3, this mentality snowballs into purging the world completely, resetting the world essentially. In this conversation, they talk about the delusion of power, sheep pretending to be wolves, young Xehanort says. Yet Xehanort acknowledges that he understands why people pretend to have power. He understands why they feign ignorance. The Master questions this topic even deeper, and Xehanort responds saying that he thinks there should be order and that it would be better if these people who are sheep pretending to be wolves were ruled by the darkness.
So you're saying the weak feel the need to justify their actions to maintain a sense of self. Can't let that slide?
And the Master is just so fun to analyze during this cutscene, all of his different mannerisms and tone shifts. It's almost as if the Master is sort of mocking, trolling Xehanort a little bit, egging him on, as if he's been in this interaction many, many times. You have Xehanort over here doing a villain monologue and origin story, and the Master is just like, really? Never heard that one before, and this is so funny. In one of these moments where Xehanort talks about how there should be order, the Master responds by just pausing, shaking his head, and walking forward, asking if he's sure about that. Almost as if he's disappointed in that response. You could tell how much care they put into the Master's mannerisms and animations. I wouldn't be surprised if Nomura was just overseeing like a lot of his interactions, because you could tell this is a character Nomura is having a lot of fun with. The Master, along with Yozora, represent this mystery that Kingdom Hearts is bringing back. I've made many videos about how The big thing, the big interest going into the next saga, for me at least, is the return of mystery in Kingdom Hearts. It felt like throughout a lot of Kingdom Hearts 3's life cycle and dev cycle that we knew a lot about what was happening. We just were missing maybe contextual pieces. It wasn't if Roxas was returning, but how would he return? It wasn't if Xion would come back, but how would they make that work? And the same goes for a lot of other cutscenes because they teased them throughout many games before. With the Master of Masters, it's in question if the Master even sides with light, if the Master sides with darkness. What is the Master? Even his identity is completely unknown to us, and we have basically no hints. The Master doesn't represent some truly virtuous light or moral high ground in the series. The Master more so seems like a super messed up god. The Master might be on light's side, but in that same vein, everything that happened with the Foretellers is kind of wrong. And the Master, in a cutscene with Luciu and Union Cross, talks about how the darkness has taken away many of his friends and then takes away many other people's friends for what? The sake of the timeline, to keep things going properly in the Book of Prophecies? Thousands of Keyblade wielders died in Kingdom Hearts Union Cross, and while some lived and he was able to make some live, he basically chose who did and didn't via the dandelions, via making Ava pick these characters, grooming Xehanort to be this seeker of darkness. And while Xehanort might have went down that path on his own, the Master definitely put more things in his head, talking about this coat that he gave Xehanort, sparking Xehanort's interest in the Lost Masters. But with all of that being said, the Master also has safety plans. He has plans to save all the Foretellers, and we start to see the fruits of some of this plan towards the end of Kingdom Hearts 3 in the epilogue. Like, the Master has done a lot of bad things that are definitely bad and a lot of maybe good things. It's really hard to say. It's all up in the air. Like, there's no clear right or wrong. There's a lot of gray, a lot more gray than there's ever been in the Kingdom Hearts franchise, and I think that's what this next saga is going to be about. And to be clear, the light side hasn't been perfect throughout the series. There's definitely a couple of instances of light potentially being in the wrong or just straight up being in the wrong. You have Master Ericus just straight up raising his Keyblade against Terra, which, despite Xehanort's manipulation in that situation, Ericus probably shouldn't have done that. You have Mickey leaving Aqua essentially in the Realm of Darkness for years and years, and you can debate that Mickey probably should not have taken that long to tell the story nonetheless. Sora is seemingly the more virtuous light out of everyone, and he's not even a pure of heart light, which I think just by logic puts into question if just having light or being a pure light means you're good. Or are you just another side of the same coin? My baseline hope is that the Master's dialogue in Kingdom Hearts 4 maintain this energy that is in this Remind cutscene throughout the rest of the saga. It doesn't have to be in every single cutscene where we're talking about just the philosophical nature of light and darkness, but I would definitely love to see how characters react to being tested on their logic of light, of darkness. Is it all good? Is it all bad? And why they really fight for these things. I don't know if Kingdom Hearts will ever go down this route, but just for reference, like characters like Roxas or Axel or Riku even, I feel like can make some very solid arguments for light versus darkness. And that cutscene with KH2 where Xemnas asks them, is he truly in the wrong? Why do they antagonize Xemnas? And Mickey kind of stammers and doesn't really know, but Riku's the one. Riku is the person who's been through all of this. He's been through the darkness. He's been in between, and he came out on the light side. And Riku's the one who's confidently just standing up to him and saying, it's cause you destroy our worlds. It's straight up, blatant, not even playing a middle ground there or devil's advocate. Yet Mickey's the one who, Mickey's been on light side forever, obviously. And Mickey doesn't really know how to respond to that.
Sort of makes you wonder why we are scared of the dark.
It's because of who's lurking inside it.
Then allow me another question. You accept darkness, yet choose to live in the light. So why is it that you loathe us who teeter on the edge of nothing? We who were turned away by both light and dark, never given a choice.
That's simple. It's because you mess up our world.
It's really nice, the thought of the series diving deeper into these morals, into these messages. And even though I'm sure the series will end with a very uplifting message, I think that message will be even more impactful than one's previous because of discussion and conversation and conflict more similar to this. Anyways, I like this cutscene a lot. And I also like Kingdom Hearts Union Cross and Dark Road quite a bit too. Because everything I feel like I've tried to describe in this video at least is in those games. And there's little bits and tidbits of it throughout other Kingdom Hearts games as well, but it definitely doesn't go much deeper than just a small moment. But this is an entire cutscene of this, and I love that so much. But I could sound crazy, so let me know in the comment section if I sound crazy or if you agree with me or just what your thoughts are on this cutscene in general. That'll be it for me. Thank you guys so much for watching, and remember to be nice, be safe, and take care everyone.